Yeah, something.
My vision's so vivid. So I'm already knowing we should have went left. So,
everything got to go to the left. You know? Be careful, man.
Beyonce taught me.
To the left. Beyonce be pushing to the road.
Low too.
Hello, okay. Huh?
You're gonna get a ticket.
You get a ticket?
Yeah, they do a ticket. Yeah, man, go. I'll do it for you.
Oh, what's up?
Hey, nephew. How are you? Good to see you, too.
This is right here, too. By the way.
What's that?
You coming back, brother. Get back in that field or what? What you gonna do?
I'm always in the
Get
field.
back in that field, huh?
Coming back, brother.
Of course, I got
You on that
y'all.
sober shit, brother. You coming back, brother.
Hey, when last time you did some shit like this? But I like to walk, though.
Walk
I
the
like
streets.
to like that walk, you know what I'm saying?
I walk every day.
This is a chicken place from New
I be
York.
walking, nigga.
Chop.
Damn.
Don't say nothing to the last second.
Look, you might be lucky right here, bro. You might be able to get that place just like they got you. That's a whole bar.
Do it.
Watch out with this car right here. It's just coming fast. I didn't see the table either, bro. It was already on it before I said watch out. So.
You let me know. You know what? You did it. Because we got whatever we need, though. No, I ain't even that. No, it's better than that. We got better than that. Every time it goes by.
I get invited into the gym. I pull up this nigga.
He's on the other way. Brought him to the bar instead of the gym.
Oh, yeah, you did that one, bro.
Yeah, it's gym itself. Yeah, I told you when I was on that. I ain't lying. Sit down. It better get out. Good. We got this song there too. Dabrand on the thingy. Good. We got this song with you too.
That's your partner here. That's your.
Nah, that ain't. I thought introduced. In with me. In with me.
No, I thought Kelvin.
Hey, how'd you find them so easy? It's good, man. You got spidey senses.
Right, I got his low.
Hey,
And I knew it's somewhere with a bar. I'm like,
Hey, I could have sworn we were coming for tacos.
and we came for drinks. He fuck around got drinks, man.
And
He got two of them.
both of them.
Some clothes? You got some clothes?
Oh shit. Hey, this what I have right now, man. I have more clothes for y'all too. This what I have in the truck.
I don't know what that is.
It's my brand called Crew.
It's small and medium.
I got whatever.
It's small and medium.
Come back and bring them over.
How many you guys gonna be here?
We gonna get some food right now.
Okay, cool. I'll be like 20 minutes.
Alright,
You need small and medium.
I got you. Who else? Blue, you want that? Yeah, Blue. Yeah, I got you some clothes.
Okay.
Yeah, remember the cool shit you wore?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I still got that shit.
Yeah,
How was the workout? Good?
Small and medium.
yeah, it was good. It was good. He should have joined. Fat ass nigga should have joined.
Hey, Dean, you deserve a lot of credit for getting Bronner right, for putting him in the right headspace.
Hell yeah.
He's still got a lot to work on, but he's putting it together. You
It's
know?
the liquor. He doing better though. I mean,
Yeah.
he used to wake up, drink all day. Started to do better, but it's when the liquor's in front of him, it's like crack in front of a crackhead.
Not like for us.
Once they
Everybody,
start, they can't stop. So,
everyone's really happy about that. Like really happy he did that. Like,
hell yeah.
Hey, you know, we walked here, like 50 people, and the guy stopped, and yeah, he sold some crazy
Blue
pop.
face?
No, blue, bro.
Oh, yeah.
both of them. There's
Both of them.
Because I gotta go.
I've seen you always in shower. I know.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Too fast.
Y'all order food yet?
Nah, I'm about to though.
You know.
Today is that day.
Give me 1 second. Let me put on my poncho. Oh, Zoe. Hey.
Hey.
How you doing, Zoe?
Just chilling.
You like my bedroom?
Yeah, it's like very red.
Very red. Red is very sexual.
You're very sexual.
I am.
Your bedroom is very sexual.
Yeah, I'm very sexual. Which bedroom you like better, this one or my main house?
I'm gonna say maybe this one.
Why? It got the fireplace.
Yeah, it's like more cozy.
Yeah, we can have a romantic night here one day.
No, I'm not.
Oh, it'll be hot.
It's gonna be hot.
Bro, this cold's kicking my ass.
Is that a wall?
Yeah. Oh.
Poncho is on point.
It's on point. You want to suck with someone in this poncho? That's very Chinese of you.
Where did you get this?
A good friend gave it to me. They give it to me. Don't touch me, bitch. You won't get sexual in my room, so. Look at this room. You got the fireplace. They got the cook chairs. I don't want nobody sneaking in my room and shit. Because I haven't even in that room yet.
What's down the pop of your cherry? Stop!
Oh, damn, we got husbands here already? Oh, one of my favorite people.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good to see you, bro.
You too, brother.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you guys always welcome. Good to see you.
Appreciate the invite.
Oh, no, you guys always welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, what's up? How you doing?
I really love that you kept the cowboy vibe.
What? I'm Cowboy Jackson. What's up, homie? You good?
Yeah, good.
You brought a bunch of ladies with you, didn't you?
Oh, you know I did.
Yeah,
got
you
8 of them.
You got 8? Oh, you the man. You always welcome. Get the Kanye. Oh, my God. Hey.
Hey, come meet my homie
Right there. What's your name? Ari? I'm Ramon.
Hi, Serena.
Nice to meet you.
Me too.
Nice to meet you. Hi. Oh, nice to meet you. Hello, how you doing? I love your shirt. Yeah.
They was already on his post.
They was already on the pole?
They was already on it.
Yeah, that's what it's for?
I'm about to go tacos right now.
Yeah. Hey, go help yourself. You guys hungry? Go help yourself.
Another friend right here.
What's your name?
Another one right there.
Amanda. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Dance with her.
I dance with her, yes, right.
Come on. I'm here. Hey, appreciate the invite, brother. You already know.
Always welcome, bro. Look. Yeah, damn.
Don Papa time.
I've been down Papa for a while now.
Cheers to better sex and better paychecks.
How you been, Zoe?
Yeah. Hey, check. Kato finally started the stream. I want y'all to show him some love. What's your stream name?
Kato Nguyen. Easy to remember.
Can't nobody spell Nguyen. What the f? That's the hardest thing to spell.
That's like Jackson or Smith, dude.
No, but
Come on, bro.
Asian.
How many Nguyen's have you met in your life? Probably like
A grip.
spell it. You can
A
spell
grip.
it.
I can't spell it.
You can't spell it?
N-Y?
N-G-U-I-E.
Yeah, I can't spell that shit. Are you Asian?
No, I'm not Asian.
No.
No.
I'm Russian. You Russian? That's your girlfriend?
His girlfriend.
No.
We found you a pick group for the rally.
Oh, you been him though, huh?
No.
Don't lie.
No, she's a mechanic.
But yeah, I worked at AutoZone though for 2 years.
You been
Fixing my own cars for a while.
you been cheese, huh?
Back now.
You know his nickname is Dick Cheese.
Dick cheese? Why would I want to?
No, it's not.
Dick Cheese.
Dick Cheese is super crazy. Jordan, can I put this back here? Tell the strippers something. Hey, you the.
Creating custom clothing with tap stitch is simple. Start by choosing a garment, then click Design Now. On the left, you'll see 4 main tools. Upload lets you add your artwork or logo. For the best results, upload PNG or JPG files that are at least 1,024.
You the best. You have a boyfriend? You have a boyfriend? You have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Does your boyfriend know about dick cheese?
Dick cheese? No.
They call him Dick Cheese McGree.
You want to be thrilled. I'm talking to somebody named Dick Cheese as a boyfriend. I don't think he would be thrilled. But...
Really? Oh shit, what's going on over here?
There, she was already on camera.
That's the girl? Yeah. Hey Zoe, get out of here. I no longer got a crush on you. I'm going with Latinas. They got
All right, y'all. This Republican Party, this MAGA Republican Party, is one that every single blue-blooded, patriotic, American-loving citizen should adore, because unlike the Republican Party in the past, these players on President Trump's current administration have been knocking Democrats out the box, hitting them with a little bit of jab and bam, coming at them. And Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who, when he initially was appointed, you know, he's a very well-spoken guy, has a really big, nice Cheshire cat grin, and some people made it a point to stress how, you know, he was a gay man, how shocked they were that he was in the Trump administration. I tell you what, President Trump doesn't care about whether you're gay or straight. Do you love this country, and do you get the job done? Heck, the best campaign advisor we have is a man named Scott Presler, who was also a gay man. So that doesn't matter. A man is a man, and if you got skills, they pay the bills. Well, Scott Bessent was brought in front of the Senate. And let me tell y'all something. They thought that they was going to sit him down and browbeat him, and thought that he was just going to be passive as they let off whatever lies that they wanted to let off. No, one by one, Scott Bessent annihilated these Democrat senators, especially one in particular. Now, you see right here on the screen, that's Senator Wyden. Now, Senator Wyden is going to try to talk up things about what President Trump is doing with certain buildings and how the Treasury Secretary is doing their job and the whole economic concerns of the country. Scott Bessent drops the mic on him. But then after that, wait till you see how he drops the mic on Elizabeth Warren, Maxine Waters, and I'm going to show you some of the skullduggery that Democrats do. I'm going to show you a clip that was released by Senate Democrats. But then I'm going to show you the actual clip of what really happened. And you see why their voters are they want their voters dumb, they want their voters lazy, so they never do research. Because the 1 minute clip they post from a 2.5 minute segment will show you just how big of liars, propagandists they really are. And that's coming out of the Senate. But let's start this thing off with Scott Bessent and Senator Wyden. Check this out.
Cash App has very much helped me save my money. So when I need it, it's just there.
There's a new next-gen translation device out there, and it's the most reliable communication tool you'll ever own. But here's the bad news. In just a few weeks, new trade regulations could restrict the sale of diplomat-grade translation technology directly to consumers. That means watered-down accuracy, fewer offline languages, and a device that just won't perform like this one does right now. The current instant translator, called Anence, is unlike anything you've ever used. It doesn't rely on Wi-Fi, it doesn't need your phone, and it doesn't use any basic cloud-based processing at all. Instead, it runs on pure AI-powered speech recognition, designed to translate 60 languages in real time with 99.99% accuracy, even in places with zero internet connection. It's fully portable, pocket-sized, and built with a noise-canceling microphone that picks up your voice perfectly, even in loud, crowded environments. Anence was originally developed for diplomats who needed instant, secure translation in the field. No Wi-Fi, no data, no risk of interception. But now the public finally has access to it. Big tech companies already tried to suppress it because it makes their translation apps completely useless. And now regulators are stepping in to limit its offline capabilities for general consumer use. This current batch is the last time it will ever be sold at full diplomat-grade performance. Once the downgrade hits, the consumer version will have fewer offline languages, weaker accuracy, and mandatory cloud connectivity, meaning your conversations won't be private anymore. And here's the best part. The battery lasts up to 4 full days on a single charge, far longer than your phone ever could while running a translation app. Standard phone apps drain your battery in hours, while Anens keeps translating for days without losing power or accuracy. No more fumbling with apps that freeze the moment you lose signal. No more awkward typing into your phone while someone waits for you to respond. It's built with simple one-button operation and meets strict privacy standards. Your conversations stay completely offline and completely private. So here's the deal. This is the final batch of the original Anens Instant Translator at full capability. Once it's gone, the only version available will be weaker, require internet, and cost significantly more due to regulation changes.
And I had hoped to keep this, in terms of the economy, Senator Wyden has mendaciously slandered the Treasury building in an attempt to cover up his son having an investment meeting with Jeffrey Epstein to ask for funding. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Let's be clear here. Nobody is interested in the ramblings of a capo in the most corrupt regime in American history. We want to get some facts about this deal. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and I will ask my questions first today.
And we would like to hear what Adam Wyden and Jeffrey Epstein talked about. Your son's largest investment position was Rick's Cabaret. So did your son and Jeffrey Epstein talk about pole dancing as he begged him for money using your limited credibility?
Should I just proceed? I'm going to proceed with my questions, and Mr. Secretary.
Did you notice Wyden didn't want any of that? Senator Wyden had no response for that. He pointed out, listen, you just attacking this Treasury to hide the fact that your son was meeting with Epstein, begging him for money, Senator Wyden. And then, even after he said that, heard Wyden say, oh, we're just trying to get to the bottom and we don't. He was so pissed off and beat red and was embarrassed. Look at that face. That's a man that's embarrassed and knows he was just called out in front of the world. And then the man said, should I continue? Should I proceed? Wyden was like, go ahead. Because there's another camera angle where you can see, because this is just one angle, in the Senate, they have multiple. There's other clips out that show the.
Can you tell your friend when he's
on? No. That's why he's like, I'm going to proceed with my line of question. He had nothing to say. Drop the mic on him. Y'all want to call people out. Y'all want to try to put President Trump on Front Street. Y'all want to try to link Trump to Epstein when it's these demon rats and their family that was begging him for money, having dinners with him, texting him during hearings, hanging out on that freaking perverted beach. But they always want to bring up Trump. Scott Bessent, 1, Democrats 0. Now, we got Pocahontas, the fake Indian woman. She is so disingenuous. Y'all know that this woman stole, and yes, I'm going to use the word stole, scholarships from actual Native Americans because she proclaimed throughout her college years and any way that she could get grants that she was Native American. And if Elizabeth Warren looks about as much Native American as I do white, that's why President Trump calls her Pocahontas. But check out this exchange, because he's going to call her out too. Every time they try to pinpoint Trump, they got the 3 fingers pointing back on what they're really doing. They bring up hypotheticals on the president, who knows he's the most watched man in the world, who knows everything he does has to be above board. And these fools jump on here for their clickable moments so their ignorant voters be like, oh, look at Trump, insider trading. They know Trump isn't doing that. But let me let him cook. Check this out. And if you're enjoying the video, do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. And once you do, make sure you hit the notification bell and select all. That way, YouTube will make sure you get notified whenever I upload new videos. And if you're new here and you want to wait to the end before you hit the like button or swipe left and hit the hype button, by all means do so. Just thank you so much for watching. But check out this beatdown.
It's hard enough these days for families living in New York. But there's one thing you can depend on. Getting what you need, quickly and affordably. But now the City Council is pushing Intro 518, a bill that would break Amazon's same-day and 2-day delivery, making it harder to get the essentials and raising your costs even higher. Don't break what's working for New York families. Learn more at NewYorkersForAffordability.org.
Shop Grainger. Talk shop
for your shop. 1 million industrial-grade products backed by 24/7 customer support. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My dad started wearing this every night. Now he walks like he's 50 again. Introducing EM Sense, the at-home device for tired, achy feet without pills or expensive treatments. Get real relief in just one 15-minute session. Here are 6 reasons why EM Sense is the last foot massager you'll ever need. 1, 4 therapies in a single wrap. Red light, soothing warmth, rhythmic massage, and adjustable compression, all working together to soothe foot discomfort at the source. No pills.
Signed the 113-page document publicly listing all of his individual stock trades at the same time that he is making decisions affecting those stocks. So you're going to sit here with straight face and say it's not a conflict of interest for the President of the United States to do that?
I'm going to say this body needs to get its house in order first.
How about we get the White House in order at the same time?
I would encourage you to do that.
I don't trade in individual stocks. I don't own any individual stocks. My house is in order.
Senator, you're...
No, she just supports Nazis. She just supports people that have dreams of whacking off in public porta potties. She just supports people who talks disparagingly about blacks and about gay people. She just supports people that disrespect patriots, Purple Heart recipients like Graham Plattner. That's who she supports. So when she talks about her house in this order, and when you watch this woman speak, just look at her face. You can see the evil in this woman's face when she talks. There is nothing pleasant about Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren. Just had to put that on the record.
Mr. Secretary.
Others on this committee can't say that, Senator.
Let's look at some individual trades. On January 6th, Donald Trump purchased up to $1 million worth of NVIDIA stock. 1 week later, his administration changed U.S. policy and loosened the rules on export controls so that NVIDIA could sell its chips to China. Now the price of NVIDIA stock is through the roof. So, Secretary Bessent, you said last year, if any private citizen traded the way members of Congress do, quote, the SEC would be knocking on their door. So my question is, should the SEC be knocking on President Trump's door to start an investigation over this trade?
Again, if this body wants to ban individual stock trading, which I would advocate for yourself, start there. And if you want legislative action to continue, that's your prerogative.
So it's our prerogative. So you would support our saying that President Trump should be investigated over this?
I would support
our trade should be investigated and President Trump should be investigated.
I would support you getting your house in order, Senator.
And how about the White House getting its house in order? Would you support that investigation?
Please lead by example.
I would like to see the President of the United States lead by example. You say there should be an investigation when that kind of activity takes place. How about we start with the White House? Let's do one more. President Trump bought tens of thousands of dollars worth of stock in Robinhood and the Bank of New York Mellon Corporation, known as BNY. On April 6th, your Treasury Department announced it had chosen the financial agent to implement the new Trump accounts program, BNY and its partner, Robinhood. Both stocks, of course, have risen since then. So, Secretary Bessent, let me ask you a different question. If these stock purchases that Trump made were made using inside information, would that be illegal?
Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to speak to that. And I think,
would it be worth investigating? You don't have to be a lawyer. You're the one who said what should be investigated.
Why don't we investigate many people on this committee, Senator? Many people.
And you don't think the White House should have to follow the same set of rules that are already the law?
I think you should get your house in order here.
My house is in order. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
And you should have your fellow committee members, mostly on your side of the aisle, do the same.
We need stronger anti-corruption rules and conflict of interest rules in Washington for everyone. And that includes the president and it includes Congress. And instead of draining the swamp, what Donald Trump is doing is he is enriching himself by taking advantage of his position.
These folks are just, President Trump didn't violate any laws, not one at all. And they know if he would have, they would have been all over the place. And it's like Scott Bessent said, y'all created the statutes, so he's playing by the game and the rules that y'all set. And y'all want to talk about President Trump, but you said nothing about Nancy Pelosi. You said nothing about any of those other Democrats. And like he said, even the ones on the committee. There are far more Democrats that make investments based off information that they're privy to than there ever are on the Republican side. You want to know how I know? Because I track it. They have the trackers where you can see all of the trades, real-time trades. I mean, not like if they bought something right now, I would know at that minute they bought it. But it's like a 24 to 48-hour lag where you can know exactly what members of Congress are investing in. You can know. And guess what? Base your trades off of that. So my trend is when you see the president invest in something or any of those other, like Nancy Pelosi, she got a lot of people rich that figured out how to utilize the tracker. But the point being is this. Elizabeth Warren wants to highlight, oh, Trump bought this stock, didn't violate a law at all. But when he flips it saying, well, what about the people on your freaking committee? You're not trying to investigate them. And see, when Trump is gone, do y'all realize how lost these people are going to be? And I mean that. That's not just because I'm a Republican or I'm MAGA or I support the president. Do you realize how lost they're going to be? They've allowed their party identity to be completely consumed around one man, not an issue. A man. This has never been done in the history of American politics, ever. So when you make your party identity of what unites all of these different deranged, radicalized people, from transgenders to men that want to play in women's sports, to just the radical Antifas, to the BLMs, when you got all of these people, to the illegal immigrants, you got all of these people that have nothing in common whatsoever except a unified disdain for President Trump. Well, when Trump's gone, and you already see the infighting starting, the cracks are, I won't even call them cracks, the craters are already there. And you know who put them there? The same exact man who they consume their party around. Trump is going through and systematically breaking these people down. He's creating. If we thought there was Trump derangement syndrome, that's just nut jobs. Real Trump derangement syndrome is what's happening as he takes a sledgehammer to the foundation they thought they had. See, the Democrats thought that it was easy street. They were going to set this globalist agenda up, boom, get their puppets in place, pack the Supreme Court, do this, that, and the other, take our guns, then start sending militia in to start attacking and locking people up that didn't fall in line. But Donald J. Trump and the Most High God had a totally different plan. So let's move on. So you got that clip. Now.
Hey, come closer. Closer. This is what nutritious food actually looks like when you have the best chefs in the country cooking for you.
I looked pretty healthy on the outside, but this scan revealed I was a heart attack waiting to happen. I stepped on my Hume Health pot.
Right here, Scott Bassett, they're going to ask him a question. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Maxine the Dream Waters. Oh, one of my favorite clips. Check out this exchange with Scott Bassett and Maxine Waters as he gets Nasty Maxie to lose her mind. Check this out. On the heels of all of the stuff that's taking place in the country right now, seniors, it's extremely important that you make sure you've got the best Medicare plan available because Medicare plans are expected to increase 10%. And that's $215 out of your Social Security check. And guess what? Some of your doctors may not be in network. Some of your prescriptions may no longer be covered. And that would suck for you to be going to visit your doctor to find out they're not in network, or for you to need a prescription to find out it's no longer covered. Why take the risk? With Chapter, you can reach out to Chapter, and a free phone call can last as short as only 20 minutes and speak to one of the highly skilled, unbiased professionals that will help you make sure you got the best Medicare plan available. If you've got the best, great.
Housing will not go for it. 10 and 20 million immigrants.
Can you shut
the
up?
housing stock of working Americans, and can you maintain some level of dignity?
Gentleman's time has expired.
No, my time has not expired.
Your time has expired. The
gentleman took up my time. I think you should recognize that, Mr. Chair.
The gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry.
The chair recognizes the vice chairman.
Mr. Chair,
parliamentary inquiry.
Go right ahead, but I would not expect you to do that.
Scott Bassett told her she should behave with some civility. And she's in there staring, told and said, can you tell him to shut up? You get him to shut up. And Scott Bassett like, you can't maintain any type of civility. And she wants the chairman to get Scott Bassett to stop talking. Because I forget what the question was, and I was trying to find the full clip where the question was included. And somebody had only clipped up. And I'm going to start taking the clips when I'm watching them during the hearings and putting them out there. But you see her like, oh, he's rattling these people. They can't handle the fact. Now, this clip is what I wanted you to see. Now, as you see, this says Senate Democrats, right? And I'm not going to play this whole clip, but their description says, watch Senator Hansen lay out to multimillionaire Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent that Americans are paying more at the grocery store, the gas pump, and healthcare. Now, check this out.
The president said that he does not think about Americans' financial situations. Do you think about the financial situation of the American people?
I believe remarks were taken out of context.
No, look, but here's what he said. He said, quote, I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. So I'm asking you, that's the direct quote. Do you think about how the American people are paying more for gas, groceries, and utilities, since the president clearly said he didn't? And you speak with the president regularly. Are you trying to tell him the truth about how much costs have increased for the American people?
Since President Trump took office, food prices, or as many people like to call them, groceries, food at home in the statistical data, is up 2.5%.
When's the last time you were in a grocery store? Because my husband and I were just in one. And look, the average Granite Stater is paid, let me be clear, the average Granite Stater has paid $3,000 more since Donald Trump took office for basic goods and services. Meanwhile, the country lost 100,000 manufacturing jobs in 2025. What is very clear to me is that neither you nor the president nor this administration are willing to acknowledge.
Now, I'm going to cut it. Now, you saw that, right? And this is what they posted on their page. It's gotten 2,500 views right now so far. So you saw that, right? Now, here's the actual clip. And I want you to tell me if you notice anything. Check this out.
This is what sold me right here. No harsh chemicals. This is actually kind of crazy. Here's why.
In May, the president said that he does not think about Americans' financial situations. Do you think about the financial situation of the American people?
I do, and as the ranking member distorted my statement, as he often does, I had prefaced my statement with, we understand that these are challenging times for the American people, that we will get over this, and that at present, the average household has paid about $200 more in gasoline.
Well,
we think about this every day.
Well, I'm glad that you do. Do you think your boss should too?
I believe remarks were taken out of context.
No, look, but here's what he said. He said, quote, I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. So I'm asking you, that's the direct quote. Do you think about how the American people are paying more for gas, groceries, and utilities, since the president clearly said he didn't? And you speak with the president regularly. Are you trying to tell him the truth about how much costs have increased for the American people?
Well, Senator, I'm going to have to disagree with you on some of that, because I have groceries are going down, and to be clear, since President Trump took office, food prices, or as many people like to call them, groceries, food at home in the statistical data, is up 2.5%.
When's the last time you were in a grocery store? Because my husband and I were just in one. And look, the average Granite Stater is paid, let me be clear, the average Granite Stater has paid $3,000 more since Donald Trump took office for basic goods and services. Meanwhile, the country lost 100,000 manufacturing jobs in 2025. So do you tell the president this information or not?
That, again, Senator, except for inflation, which is, I believe, going to be a short-term blip, the economic data is very strong. The jobs data has been very strong. The manufacturing ISM has been very strong.
No, actually, that's incorrect. So let's move on, because what's clear to me...
Which part was incorrect, Senator?
No, what is very clear to me is that neither you nor the president nor this administration are willing to acknowledge how much more people are paying at the gas pump, at the grocery store, in utilities, for health care, for all aspects of American life, nor have you acknowledged the number of manufacturing jobs that were lost in 2025. Now let's move on to another issue.
Americans are paying 2.5% more for groceries since President Trump took office, which is half the annual amount under Biden administration.
We're not talking about Biden. We're talking about this administration and its promise to lower costs, and the fact that this president says he doesn't care. Now, let's go on to it. Mr. Secretary, my time is limited. I'd like to reclaim a little bit of my time.
Now, did you see that? Big difference than in the clip that they initially put up there, where they made it seem like, oh, yeah, the Senate Democrat. No, yes, that's like, no, grocery prices actually gone down. Grocery prices have increased 2.5%, but all of that other stuff, and even after. What part is incorrect, Senator? She knew she couldn't answer. And you notice what they always try to do when they get caught? They say, you know what, but let's move on. We're going to move on. We're going to move on from that. And they try, I peeped the game on these people. Their objective is, and I've seen it on the mainstream media too, before they switch topics, their goal is to get one last one-liner in because they know the viewer and the listener will remember the last thing said on that topic. Whether it be factual or non-factual, that's how it plays out. So they try to say, well, yeah, because the presidents don't care, but let's move on. And that's why you see Scott Besson and Marco Rubio, these guys don't have it. They're like, no, you're not going to just overtalk me. I'm going to get this out because everything that's said goes on the congressional record. It goes on the record. So Scott Besson did a great job making sure that Senator Hansen wasn't just going to steamroll the propaganda. And he got a little something for Gavin Newsom, too. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite cabinet members. But check out what he has to say about Gavin Newsom. This was vicious. Check this out.
I think Gavin Newsom may be cracking up with some of these things he's saying. I think he may be in over his hairdo. And being on the national stage is very different than being governor of California with no signature achievements. But to say strange things like President Trump is a Tyrannosaurus Rex, what the hell does that mean? I could say Gavin Newsom is a brontosaurus with a brain the size of a walnut. And if you brought the knee pads, maybe that was for his meeting with Alex Soros. I don't know. I think Gavin Newsom maybe.
If he brought the knee pad, and he's talking about when Gavin Newsom went over to Davos, the international convention. He went over there with that leftist deranged bullcrap that works on these radicalized far leftist unemployed people in California and in America. On the global stage, they were insulted. It was embarrassing for Gavin Newsom. Matter of fact, they didn't even give the man a seat out there, and he was there trying to show up Trump. He really showed just how much of a lightweight he is on the Trump level. He even was supposed to speak. Trump had that canceled. Gavin Newsom was pissed. And the funny thing is, he had a meeting with Alex Soros while he was there. So, like Scott Besson said, he had those knee pads probably for his meeting with Alex Soros. And you know what that means was probably going on if the knee pads came out, right? But hey, I just wanted to bring this to you. I saw this, and I love when we see a member of our team, with their back against the wall, just fighting them off. And he did that. As a matter of fact, what do you think about how Scott Besson handled him? You think he took him on and did it well? I love to read how you feel about it. And if you stayed and you watched this, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. But most importantly, make sure that you stay safe and that you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell, and I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.
Watch what nuts do to our body. A walnut is a
And he says, don't glaze on Trump. Watch how he claps back and goes off on Charlemagne. He cannot hold his own. It is almost cringy to watch. Let's check this out.
You were on the Katie Miller podcast, and you said, in regards to your relationship with Trump and has it cost the UFC business, you said, I don't give a shit. I don't know the answer to that question. I've gotten to a point in my life, especially after COVID and all that nutty shit that went on during that time, that I only want to be in business with and talk to people that I'm aligned with.
Well, I don't know about talk to people that I'm aligned, but I want to do business with people that I'm aligned with, for sure.
So you're aligned with Trump on what exactly?
Well, Trump is a good friend of mine. I mean, I've been friends with him for 25 years. Mm-hmm. Friends. I mean, he just happened to become the president of the United States. Mm-hmm. and he and I have never had he had us at the Trump Taj Mahal. When we first bought this company, the stigma that was attached to this thing, you can imagine. Think about this. It wasn't allowed on pay-per-view. You as a grown adult didn't have the option to buy it on pay-per-view. Porn was on pay-per-view. The UFC was not allowed on That was the uphill battle we had. So you can imagine venues didn't want us because these guys were like, what kind of people will show up to watch this kind of an event? And he had us at the Trump Taj Mahal for the first 2 fights, 30 and 31, UFC 30 and 31, and then after we did those 2 fights, first he showed up for the first fight of the night and stayed till the end for both events. And you think the Trump brand then and the UFC brand, and every good thing that ever happened to me in my career after that, he was always the first guy to reach out. So then when he was running in 16, he called me and asked me, would you speak for me at the Republican convention? And everybody told me not to do it. Don't do it. This is going to be bad. And he's never going to win and all that kind of stuff. But this was a guy that was always good to me and, always treated me well, and I did it.
I can understand that. That's your friend. But when your friend has a disapproval rating of 62%, right, record high, people say
it's always record high. Keep in mind, it's always record high. When Biden is in, record high disapproval rating, they always say it's record high, and I don't even know if that's true. I'll fact check right now, but I bet it's not. I bet those numbers are fake, and I don't believe it, to be honest. If you look at people who support, and this is an interesting distinction that kind of needs to be made, I think, there are a lot of people who still support Trump, and they don't support war with Iran. And there's a lot of people who have always had that position, stood by that. People like Charlie Kirk as well, who advised Trump not to go to war with Iran and didn't think it would be smart.
They don't like his handling of the Iran war. The economy's shitty. Cost of living for people is fucked up. Why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people? As a friend.
Well, he's the president of the United States.
Still your friend, though.
And yeah, I know. But for me to get involved in, it's like if your friend had I'm sure people disagree with you that are friends with you, and everybody has friends that you just doesn't mean you're not friends with them anymore. It doesn't mean that you.
Oh no, I didn't say you shouldn't be friends with them. I just said, why can't you tell your friend he's failing the people? Because these are the same people who make UFC a success.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree that he's failing the people. I think that when the president is done in 3 years, people will look back on and realize a lot of the good things. See, I'm closer to him too, and I see all the good things that he does that a lot of people, either don't see or don't want to see.
But tariff inflation has increased the price of household goods, increased utility bills because household electricity costs have gone up 9%. The failure to extend the
Good evening and welcome to the Tony Kinnett Cast here on the Daily Signal, nationally syndicated first on 93 WIBC. Whether you're joining us from radio, TV, the live stream, podcast space, wherever, we are glad to bring you a lot of the news. We're not going to waste any more time. Let's dive right in. There was a rather curious indictment that was announced today by none other than FBI Director Kash Patel. And then after the charges were brought forward, these 4 felonies, immediately pleading not guilty to all of them. And this is one of the more bizarre crimes that I have seen. Check it out. According to Kash Patel,
healthcare.
This afternoon, a former managing assistant U.S. attorney who supported Jack Smith's politicized investigation of President Trump has been charged with stealing the confidential investigation documents.
I'm a common
now,
sense
right
dude too.
off the
when
top,
you look at people
this is so ironic. Alanis Morissette is tuning the guitar.
Extremely
because this was an investigation about classified documents,
coming to the country
and the assistant prosecutor in this case,
I'm here in Arizona.
This Lineberger,
$250,000
is alleged. She's accused of allegedly emailing the confidential material from this case to her own personal email, Hillary Clinton, anyone, disguising them as dessert recipes to conceal them from record searches.
Obviously,
gas in the Iran on the show in the last couple of months. I've told you that Freedom of Information Act requests, and I filled out tons of them. In fact, there used to be a FOIA, FOIA at TonyKinnett.com email that I would use to actually carry out FOIAs with various state, local, and the federal government. Because you send in, hey, these are the list of words that I need you to
policies and
laboriously type in
things have happened
to
with Joe
Microsoft
Biden, if that
Outlook,
makes sense.
and
You know,
3
like I
weeks
said,
later,
not an
when Outlook
economist, but to
decides
me,
to
that's
work,
just
I want all of the
basic
emails that have to do
sense,
with these
like
different
common
words and terms.
Nobody's ever going
And
to.
I was pretty good at it because as a former educator in that system, as a former administrator, I knew all the fancy words that you would hide things under. Dessert recipes was not one of them. So Carmen Lineberger, she is a longtime federal prosecutor, age 62, who served as the managing assistant U.S. attorney for the Fort Pierce branch of the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of Florida. And you'll know that Judge Eileen Cannon, the Southern District of Florida, is where President Trump was investigated and tried by Jack Smith. And this is where things do get pretty interesting here. But to finish the statement from Kash Patel, quote, Lineberger is charged with 4 felony counts in this indictment. That is not a small number. The FBI will not hesitate to bring to account those who violated the trust of the American public in an investigation that should have never been brought to begin with. That is going to be a theme of some of these indictments here at the beginning of the show. The FBI will not hesitate. The Department of Justice will not hesitate. Marco Rubio, fueled by 8 white Monster energy drinks in a row, will not hesitate. You're going to hear a lot of that this evening. So who is this particular individual? What are these allegations? So in late 2024, early 2025, between December of 24 and January of 25, Lineberger allegedly received access to Volume 2 of Smith's final report. It's a detailed recap of the investigation into Trump's retention of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. This volume remained under seal by order of U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon. You might say, why would she need to seal those orders? You shouldn't be asking that question. Eileen Cannon sealed this information regarding these documents because those documents were classified. Now, they were things that the President of the United States absolutely had the authority to take with him. We saw this from everyone all the way from on the left, Joe Biden, to the right, Mike Pence, Barack Obama. Every president has taken home a little manila envelope of memories with them when they leave office. But Jack Smith was alleging that the President of the United States, after his first term, took a bunch of documents to, I guess, as some of the outlets that would later interview him.
A lot of things, but I don't try to get into.
You like everything he's doing?
Like I just said, you're never going to agree with everything. But, you know, as a friend, I'm not going out there. And he and I have never, other than the first 2 UFC events, then nothing with us is transactional.
So your relationship with Trump is bigger than business. It's actually personal.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a real friendship, not some type of, you know, he has lots of friends, especially now that he's the president. We don't have that. We've had a 25-year real friendship and real relationship.
But don't be a glazer, though.
Don't be what?
A glazer. Like just somebody that just tells him he's great. A yes man, basically.
Yeah.
You gotta tell him when he's.
I don't think anybody's ever accused me of being a yes man. Okay. And I think that's that's part of. But listen, I'm not an overly political person either.
Are you part of the MAGA movement culturally? Do you align with their ideologies and their values?
You know, I consider myself right down the middle or leaning a little liberal, to be honest with you. Everybody thinks I'm some far right guy because of our relationship. I'm more about common sense. I'm a common sense guy. And if it makes sense to me, then I'm probably in.
So when you see the Joe Rogans, the Theo Vaughns, the Andrew Schultzes actually, you know, calling out Trump and what they don't like, what do you think of that?
I think that everybody's entitled to their own opinions, and if there's things that you see that you don't like and you want to be political, call them out.
Yeah, because it's interesting. Most CEOs try to stay politically neutral to protect the brand. You almost seem kind of like proud to be political, I guess.
Not proud to be political. I mean, I'm just saying that this guy is my friend, and nothing is perfect. And you know, whoever is the next president, right or left, isn't going to be perfect either. I just think that I don't base my relationship with him on politics.
Well, what about when people say that you're the reason why a lot of young male voters, because of, you know, you have seen everything that you have, voted for Trump? And that was something that, like, even if you didn't mean to do, it was widely talked about, and you still leaned into helping his popularity in the space.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But that gets political then.
Yeah. I guess.
So you're responsible for the high tariffs and the high inflation costs, and
I guess so. I guess if that's the way you want to look at it,
for people
it's all my fault.
No, I'm just saying you're responsible for people's health care getting cut. I'm just saying, like, that's what you're essentially saying.
And Charlemagne's responsible as well for the BLM riots after George Floyd, sadly. You know, it's just, I think it's silly when you try and play these games and try and do these, like, weird, you know, runarounds to try and, like, pin the tail on the donkey, and you're trying to, like, pin it on Dana. Like, are you serious?
Okay.
Jeez.
I mean, that's not the way I look at it, but I guess I could see why you would look at it that way, and you could, you know, frame it like that.
What's the craziest thing a fighter has asked you for besides money? Is there anything on the side that a fighter said, this is weird or this is strange?
Cocaine?
No, nobody's ever asked me for cocaine.
You heard that one loud.
Shit, I don't know. I mean, a lot of it. Well, to go with Charlemagne here, I got a fighter right now whose wife got grabbed by ICE. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Was there a conversation with your sponsors or anybody on the business side when that video went viral of you and your wife in the club?
Yeah.
And with the slapping, you slapping her slapping you?
Yeah.
When they reached out to you, what did they, like, how did that conversation go?
We didn't have any sponsor problems during that. I think that you know, my wife and I jumped on that immediately, and again, that was more of a we had to deal with our kids with that one. When you embarrass your children on a global level, you know, that's one of the worst things that can ever happen to you. I didn't have any sponsorship problems with that.
I was at TMZ at the
I didn't know they slapped each other. Wait, what? I'm looking at, like, this image, and you can see, like, she's slapping him. Interesting. Wow.
time when that video went up and, like, the whole debacle and, like, you know, whatever. And one thing I will say is your relationships have afforded you a lot of, like, empathy and grace. Like, the way that they handled that situation with you and allowing you to speak out for yourself, like, as it was published, I had never seen that in my time being in the newsroom.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, that was my first time ever realizing, like, relationships can change a narrative 100%. And they reported it honestly, but they allowed you to, at the same time that the video is going up, you're speaking for yourself and apologizing. And I was just like, wow. I always told myself if I ever got a chance to meet you, I would really want to talk to you about that because I'd never seen that before.
Interesting. Yeah, we were apologizing to our children, my wife and I, when that happened. And I think that a lot of the people that I've been in business with and that I'm friends with know me really well. Yeah, it's just one of those. It was bad.
What does he need to apologize? Like, he doesn't need to apologize to me. Like, him and his wife don't need to apologize to me when they're slapping each other. Like, why? And then this is the thing too that I love about like loyalty and kind of how it reflects in the political landscape is just that what she's saying is absolutely true. When you don't burn bridges with people, whenever you're not so eager to jump ship and grift, you you maintain relationships and you don't burn a bridge for some likes and for some clicks, then yeah, like, it is very give and take, just like all relationships are. So
we jumped right on it and dealt with it. I don't think that when I got back from Mexico, it was 64 days of just, you know,
people
getting hammered. Yeah, I mean, and I live in Vegas, so I was waking up at like 3 a.m. every morning because the East Coast is cracking off at 6 o'clock with all the, you know, talk shows and sports shows, and, you know, I had to make the rounds and do all the interviews. And I say this all the time: you find out who's who and what's what when the shit hits the fan. And I learned a lot about a lot of people during that time, in mostly a positive way, not negative.
And if a UFC fighter was caught on camera,
it's happened. Oh,
it's happened.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why you
I wonder would they have been treated the same way?
You know what's funny is that it's not funny, but I used to say that you don't recover from those. Those are ones you don't recover from.
But you did.
I did.
You think being the boss protected you from consequences
No.
that employees or athletes
No,
would survive?
definitely not.
No, definitely, Dana. Come on.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
You made the choice publicly not to excuse yourself from the brand. You
chose publicly to not what?
To excuse yourself or give yourself
Like
a. You
nobody
said,
can
well,
100%.
yeah, like,
Well,
what?
listen, there's a board of directors. There's there's other people that are involved that could have pushed for that, but yeah, I think that, and obviously they think too, it would have hurt the company more if I did step away.
And you've disciplined fighters for public behavior that was unbecoming to the company before, right?
Well, I mean, I'm probably the most lenient, the most lenient guy in sports when it comes to dealing with, whether it's free speech or bad things that happen. And, I'm in the fight business. It's not like I run Microsoft. You know what I mean? So.
So what standard did you hold yourself to in that moment?
Listen, obviously,
the fighting standard.
That's
probably.
not. That's not what it was. Yeah, I mean, it's as bad as it could get. I mean, I hold myself to. I would never in a million years think that was going to happen. And I say this all the time. Nobody knows you better than your kids do. Mm-hmm. And your kids, whoever you really are, your kids see it. They hear it. Everything that goes on at home. And,
how did they react to that incident?
My oldest son didn't talk to us for like 4 days. We had to, and
how old was he at the time?
Huh?
How old was your oldest son at the time?
He was in college, so he was 19 probably. Yeah.
Wow.
19, 20. And we the first thing that her and I did was handle the situation with the kids. And then obviously I had to handle the business side of the whole thing. But yeah, we handled the kids first.
How did Power Slaps get started?
That's a terrible segue. I don't know if that was a terrible segue or a great segue.
But
I'm conflicted right now. I think it was great though.
Was Power Slaps?
I think it was great. I think it was great.
Power Slaps is in the ring,
It's a
not.
little wild.
Oh, I thought he was talking about. I'm like, yo, what the fuck?
Like, not y'all just be out here power
That
slapping
was
the
great.
enemy.
That was. I think that was good. I just got a couple questions because I do want to go back to the slap thing. What responsibility do you feel, knowing that you're a person who a lot of young men idolize as a leader, and for the young men that saw that footage, what responsibility do you feel?
Yeah, a lot. No, it's bad, and not my finest moment. I don't want to blame anything other than the fact that it happened. I did it. And, now from probably the worst thing that can happen to you is somebody, this guy's a wife beater, or, but that's the kind of things that I have to hear, for the rest of my life. And my kids have to hear that. So yes, it's a big deal to me, and I take it very seriously.
Pretty interesting story, don't you think? Give it up for old boy over there, Charlemagne the God with his big ass head.
Waiting for you. All right, bet. No, not much. So they were trying to have me react to a video. I think it was you and Sneeko. You guys were reacting to the conversation we had with Chud the Builder. Or about Chud the Builder. I think the conversation went a little bit elsewhere, but it was for me, I thought it was I'm usually the person that is never, I'm not like Tariq. And I think that's another place where Sneeko did a misstep, because I think he approached it like I was going to come with this black victimhood thing. And I was like, no, I'm not defending none of those points. What I'm defending here is that we have a certain individual, right? Whether you I don't know how you kind of degrade racial relations within, among races at this point. I think they're better than a couple years ago when people were rioting. And this guy is going out of his way, and he's using something that would seem legal, but it's not legal. He's saying it's my freedom of speech to be using slurs to offend you, piss you off, get you to a point that you could possibly, so I'm gonna provoke you till you could possibly attack me. And if you do it, man, I got this gun on my hip, I'm gonna put your brains on the pavement. And so Sneeko hopped on, and his opinion was this, and I guess you could chime in after that.
Yeah.
But this was the brunt of the debate. He said, well, here's the thing. He's like, I don't necessarily agree with what Chud the Builder does. However, I do think that, the black community or any community that allows a word to have like that much power, they should almost nerf the word, just like, repurpose it, or when people use it, just don't take offense. And my point to him was, that's just not, like, if we go back in the history of all etymology, like, that's just not how words are used and repurposed and put into place. If I say certain words to you about whether your religion or your mom or anything that's sacred to you, and also the thing with Chud, when disrespect is intended, even if it wasn't that word, he would have found the word to put the disrespect in. So it's hard to avoid when someone is seeking disrespect. If I said earlier, and I'll throw it to you after this, I said because I'd seen a small part of, like, I guess you went on a tirade, and you said, well, you know what, if there is a little bit of black fatigue. And I said, well, here's the thing. When I look at, like, white people, I do think white people are kind of tired of not being able to be themselves, not being able to, like, be proud of being white. Because historically in the last 10 years or so, it has been where it's like, hey, if you're proud to be white, you're proud to be racist, right? And it's almost been like synonymous. And I do see like the tides changed on that. I don't have a problem necessarily with that. I have a problem when they're trying to combine those movements with a guy who is not, like, if he was walking up to white people, be like, yo, we're fucking white, we're proud, we're Americans. And if that was his thing and he's going viral, I don't think he gets his backlash. Is that he makes his movement diametrically opposed to black people, trying to put them down and also trying to assert why he's proud to be who he is. And that's why I thought it was a bad representative of any argument that anyone could have trying to support him. And the Sneeko argument happened. What say you?
Yeah, so I think it's important, right, to kind of understand that, like, a lot of the clips that go viral from Chud, right, those clips went viral because of the altercation. But obviously, nothing gets clipped when he's having conversations with people, when they're chopping it up about stuff more positive. Only the negative stuff goes viral. Me and you both know this, being in this industry, that, the good stuff is never clipped, right? When you say things that are positive, where you help people out, they never clip that. They only clip when you're, crashing out on Meek Mill or saying, oh, fuck you, Rory, or some other shit. So I think that's important, because us as content creators, we understand that we always get clipped, sometimes at the craziest moments that don't necessarily reflect us. Now, with that said, let me be clear about this. I don't agree walking around and antagonizing people. I think that's probably not a good idea. And I actually messaged him about this as well. Now, with that said, when I talk about Chud and I talk about what just went down with this shooting, I'm speaking from the scope that, based on the information that I saw and what people told me that were actually watching the live stream. Did you hear like what was like the narrative? What was been said?
Please. Well, I've heard one narrative, but I want to hear what you've heard.
Yeah. So basically, from people that watch the stream, it goes down like this: he's walking around, and a group of people, presumably with whoever this guy was there, like pointed at him and started laughing. So he walks over. He says, "Hey, you guys like my suit? How's your day? Blah blah blah."
This is outside the courthouse, right? Because that's also
outside the courthouse. Okay. It's in this vicinity. Yeah. One of the guys says, "Hey, get out of here," and he says, "Well, I have the right to be wherever I want to be and walk where I want." Right? Okay. He starts walking away. Then he walks about 50 to 100 feet or yards away, whatever it may be, and the dude walks up to him and says, "I got PTSD. You better not say that I'm going to chimp out or call me the N-word, blah, blah, blah." Right?
Okay.
So he says, "Or what? You're going to chimp out?" And the fucking guy punches him, right? He punches him, the camera falls, you hear some tussling for a few seconds, and then you hear shots fired, right? Now, when it comes to those facts and circumstances, right? That is self-defense. People don't have to like Chud. They don't have to agree with the content he makes. They don't have to, be a fan or not. But I do think that with what went down and the facts that we know right now, if they are that in that manner, in that order, more than likely he's gonna have a pretty strong self-defense case. But the thing that people need to understand, and me and you both know this, we talked about this last time we spoke. Whenever you have a high-profile case like this, like where someone that's high-profile was involved in an altercation or something happened, a lot of times the state is just going to make an arrest to absolve themselves from responsibility so that they can kind of be like, oh, we're going to pass the buck to grand jury. Like this literally happened to you. So you know what I mean? You were innocent. We all know you were. Bitches are lie all the time. But they still had to try to, let's push it to the grand jury because, we don't want to deal with any type of fallout. So when it comes to the Chud situation, the guy closed the distance on him. And typically, whoever closes the distance is the aggressor. And Tennessee has a stand your ground statute. So once he punched him, it's all, game's on now at this point, right?
So I'm with you on most of this. And so the narrative I heard, it omits the part that he basically just says, what's up, and walks away, then the other guy approaches, right? So in the narrative I heard, he approached the guy. He's trying to have a conversation. The guy warns him. There is no walking away, so it appears that Chud walks up, and the guy warns him, hey, I have PTSD. Chud continues in their rhetoric back and forth. He then says the chimping out thing. A punch happens. But I'll dismiss what I've heard and go with what you've heard, just to continue the conversation.
Because the people I spoke to watched the stream. Like, I asked a couple of people that watched the stream, and that's what they said.
Okay, perfect.
So there's a short conversation. The guy tells him, get out of here. He says, I could walk where I want and be where I want. It's a free country, something along those lines. He walks away. Then the guy closes the distance on him and makes the remarks about, you better not say that N-word around me or, say that chimping out shit. I got PTSD. And then he says, oh, are you going to chimp out? And that's when he punched him. And then obviously the fight began.
And this is where, so just addressing that. All right. If what you're saying is right, and I have really no reason to believe that it's just like a complete lie. So I'm going to go with it. So that happened. Well, self-defense is not utilizing deadly force, right? Like, I think deadly force, like, is defined by all 50 states, but even federally is like, if someone slaps you, it has to reach. So and this is the important distinction. I think a lot of people who like Chud or maybe supported in theory what he was doing, because he kept saying things like, hey, this is my First Amendment right, free speech. A lot of people didn't correct him in saying that, hey, listen, brother, you better go get a black belt or learn to squabble up, because what happens is if someone spits on you, you can't shoot them. If someone knocks your hat off, you can't execute them.
Sure.
So even if I'm going with what you said, yes, I believe he was defending himself, but when you defend yourself, that's you fighting back. So it wouldn't be an assault charge if he had punched the guy back in the mouth or even beat the shit out of him. But when you grab a gun, and then that was, by the way, it's in his intent. He said it multiple times. Hey, I'm leaving a chimp's brain on the pavement. He's not saying that I hope no one threatens my life. He says these altercations where at times people are not even saying, I'm going to kill you. There's nothing that establishes, and you're a former law enforcement agent, so you know better than me. There's nothing that he could, articulate that says, hey, I am in fear of my life. Someone punching you in the mouth is not in fear of your life. He didn't say that. I heard that audio where he was telling the cop. He never said, oh, the guy was trying to grab my gun. He didn't say, hey, I'm about to shoot you with my gun. Basically, trust me, I know you walk around with a gun, I walk around with a gun. There's a lot of Americans that walk around using and establishing their Second Amendment right, the right to bear arms. Whether it's concealed or not, usually everybody's in the know of saying or understanding that it's not the first thing you use towards any type of violent or threatening altercation. If someone says, I'm going to slap you, you can't shoot them and get away with it. If someone bumps hard into you and you feel that was, like a act of aggression, you can't execute them. So someone punching this guy in the face, I think he had a severe misunderstanding for a while, thinking that if you touch him, he was well within his right to shoot you. And you tell me if you believe that's legal. So I'm not saying I'm saying he's defending himself. I'm saying he's not right to defend himself with a gun.
Fair. So you're trying to make the argument that the proportionality was off, right?
Yes, because usually, and most laws say there has to be proportional force. Yes, in terms of responding.
Let's switch Chud out. Let's say it's a 5'2" girl, same exact fact pattern. Can she shoot him?
After one punch, I would say no. I mean, it would be heavily debated though with the jury. I can imagine heavily debated, right? Like if it's like, oh, this has been my abuser. There's some history there. I'm really scared. Yes. In Chud's case, that's a tough sell. And again, here's my thing. He's been going around citing these, my First Amendment, my Second Amendment. But so you're going to roll the die on people thinking that your frame of mind was that you're scared or you thought your life was in danger when you're online saying for months, I'm going to leave a chimp's brain on the pavement. And he said it was a season finale. Like, all these things, these things are not going to get tossed. He's not going to be lucky like Luigi Mangione, who just got the backpack tossed out. All of these things are going to be active in your case. Nothing,
so
and again.
So for Chud, you believe that his use of force wasn't proportionate to what happened to him.
Yes.
So I said, because you believe one punch doesn't constitute as justification for deadly force.
Yes.
Fair. Then I asked you, well, what if it was a 5'1" woman and this dude punched her?
It'd be a better case.
Just fine shooting him?
Be a better case.
Right? It'd be a better case, right? Perfect. So what you just did there, I don't think what you just did there was you basically made it, for the girl, the force is reasonable, right? But for Chud, I don't think so. And this is why self-defense is so important. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what anyone thinks. The only thing that matters is the person that used the force and what was going on at their mind at the time of the act when they pulled the trigger or decided to use deadly force. And it's very important to know also, and I went into detail with this with a self-defense lawyer, one of the best lawyers in the country, and he also agrees with me on this. When it comes to self-defense and using deadly force, within milliseconds, that decision could be made, right?
I agree.
This is what protects people from getting wrongly prosecuted when they have had a reasonable inclination to believe their life was in danger. For example, let's say you get into a road rage incident, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get out the car, the other dude gets out the car. He says, fuck you, act, blah, 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 all this other shit. And then you see him go like this, right? And you see something silver. You pull out your piece and you shoot him, dead, right?
Most likely going to be that.
Right? And then, but you find out, it was a pocket knife, right? Or it was a cell phone. Well, now, would a reasonable person have reason to believe that after a car crash, right, a fender bender, and they're out on the street fighting each other, and the guy comes out aggressively and says some things about you, and then he reaches like this, you see the light shine on it, and you're like, no way, I'm not taking a chance, you shoot him. You could argue that you were acting reasonably given the facts that were given to you. Why do I say all this? I say all this to say, we don't know what was going on when Chud was assaulted, and for us to dismiss it and say, he got punched one time in the face, that doesn't constitute as deadly force. We can't say that. Let's say he got hit in the back of the head. Let's say he got hit in an area where it knocked the wind out of him and he wouldn't be able to defend himself. Let's say he got a hold of his mace. I know this dude carries mace around with him, right? So we don't know all the different provoking factors that led to Chud pulling the trigger. But when it comes to self-defense, it's never based on what the 2020 hindsight is, like me and you were doing. It's based on what was known to Chud at the time he pulled the trigger. That's the only thing that matters.
And what you're doing right now is an amazing defense attorney stance. And if I'm his attorney, I'm hiring you, a former law enforcement agent, as an expert witness in a jiffy. But there's a few things to consider, right? First and foremost, the reason why he's doing all these things is going to end up hurting him, right? The fact that there's actually audio recorded at the moment where he's even explaining it, and it's now to the world, where he literally explains how it happened. He says, well, I went up to the guy. The guy says, hey, whatever, he doesn't want to kind of engage. He says, yo, you better not say that chimping thing. I got PTSD. He explains that. None of his explanation said I was in fear for my life. Now, granted, that's not the only time he's going to have.
He said he had to defend himself.
Okay,
but it's also here's
that's a huge range. That's a huge range, right? Like he hasn't established where he feels he's in fear of his life. He says the guy punches him. He never says, "Hey,
You don't have to fear for your life, Ak. It could be. It's not just that. It's not just like you feel like you're gonna die. It could be serious bodily injury too.
Okay.
Serious bodily injury can also constitute for deadly force, right? Let's say you're a diabetic, right? And you know that your sugar's low. This dude comes up to you and hits you, right? You already start seeing stars. Well, now, if you pull out a gun and shoot him, right? Because according to what you're saying, you're like, oh, a punch doesn't constitute as justification for deadly force. My argument to that is it can, depending on who the individual is. We also don't know if he didn't follow up with a flurry of punches. Every punch that he throws gives Judd more and more justification. Maybe he heard, oh, kill that guy, whatever. And I know you mentioned before, yo, this dude walks around provoking people, etc. So check this out. Here's another thing that's very important. Your state of mind when you use the deadly force also matters. So if you've been getting death threats, if people have been threatening to kill you, if your address has been doxxed, if you've been going through situations where people are stalking you or whatever, all of that actually gives Chud more, right, reasonable belief that his life is in danger and that he can use deadly force. Now, I don't have to say I agree with that or I'm happy that that's what it is. I'm just being objective here and unbiased that when you have threats on your life, you get doxxed and you're like a polarizing figure like him, his use of force ladder is much easier to climb because he can reasonably articulate that, look, I'm a controversial guy. People come up to me. People say they want to kill me. People have these threats against me, blah, blah, blah. So that's why I did what I did. Also, interesting side bit. The dude that punched him had made a post on social media saying that he was going to harm him. So we don't know if Chud knew that. He might have recognized the guy, or the guy might have said, I'm going to kill you. I knew I was going to run into you. I'm going to kill you. Well, any of that stuff that's said can obviously be reasonably looked at as a threat on his life, which allows him to use deadly force. And keep in mind, you don't have to get hit, right?
Also, similarly, I'm going to leave a chimp's brain on the pavement. So
self-defense.
So that will be used. I will say, though, everything we're saying, and we're kind of like trying to operate from like this hypothetical type of stance.
Yeah, because we don't know all the facts. We don't know all of them. So
it is kind of almost nerfed, though, by the fact that, yes, maybe if it was some random guy that didn't leave a long established history and trail of audio and video of him promising to do certain things or acting in certain situations. Keep in mind, there's also a video or some depiction of what happened, because according to the arrest warrant, they said that he was in a bladed stance with his weapon out before the guy ever punched him. So already you're cooked. So the weapon is out. So if you then, so let's put it in perspective in how I'm going to do it. So you antagonize people with words. They now start to either, react back, maybe not even physically yet, and you have your gun out. This is like bait car. It seems like
he didn't antagonize them. It's important, Ak. He didn't antagonize them on this situation. The only fact pattern that matters is this situation. All the stuff he did before.
So he never called this guy a chimp.
No, what he said, what they told me was, he said, you better not call me the N-word or say that I'm chimping out. And he goes,
well, why would he draw for his gun then? So suppose they're saying he's in a bladed stance with his weapon out. Why would he do that if the other party, remember you said that he walked away. It seems like he's de-escalating. He's not antagonizing. Why would he need to pull his weapon unless you're saying this guy literally was an unhinged guy trying to attack him?
Sure, I can answer that. It was probably pepper spray. So Chud walks around with bear mace all the time, and that's typically what he uses. So we don't know if he wasn't reaching for his bear mace.
Well, the CNN personnel who read the arrest warrant said he reached for his firearm and he stood in a bladed stance. And this was before the altercation.
It's not illegal. Let's go with that fact pattern. Even though what I've been told is he got hit first, then you heard the gunshots.
Okay.
Let's assume that he was.
Which I believe that too. I'm just saying, there are some people where even after you got your gun out, they think you're not going to fire and they'll still hit you.
Okay, so perfect. Let's use that fact pattern. Let's dismiss mine. Let's use yours. Let's assume that the guy is walking towards him when he has a bladed stance, saying, "Hey, you better not," which obviously implies he has a weapon. You can argue now that he's coming at me when I'm warning him I have a weapon.
Yeah, but
this guy's crazy and wants to hurt me.
But technically, that would also be assault, correct? Like, So you're telling me. So you're telling me if I pulled out a loaded gun, okay, I'm having an argument with the guy and I pulled out a loaded gun on him, that's nothing? If you have a loaded gun on someone, Remember, there's been no physicality yet, and that person punches you. The person who punched you is in the wrong? Come on, Myron.
Okay, you said, hold on. You said reaching for. Now you're saying he pulled it out and pointed. That's a big difference. Reaching for versus this is two different things.
Okay. So I want to go by the exact wording. They're saying the arrest warrant is showing that he turned into a bladed stance and reached for his firearm.
Okay. It's not illegal to reach for your gun.
Okay.
It's not illegal.
Well, if someone
we don't even know if it's a gun yet. Like I said, he carries bear mace with him.
Well, but
too.
if you're saying self-defense, it works both ways. If someone feels you're reaching for a gun, based on what they've heard you say in the past, and they punch you, it feels like it would be their self-defense, right?
Duck kiss, just straight duck.
Well, no, because he closed the distance and was the aggressor. The aggressor can't claim self-defense.
Well, the point I was trying to say is that threatening someone with a gun is the person being threatened. If I have a gun on my hip and I'm arguing with you, and I lift my shirt up that you can see the gun, and I say, "Yo, Myron, what you want to do? Yo, what's up? We can do it any way you want." And you see the gun, that is the initial aggressive event. Even though I've not touched you. No, I've made a threat with a weapon. No?
Fair. But you're missing a very important part, Ak.
Okay, go ahead.
If let's use a scenario. Let's say me and you are beefing.
Okay.
I see you on the street, right? You see me coming towards you. We're in the state of Florida or Tennessee.
Okay.
Hey, Ak, I heard you talking that shit. Say that shit to me now. You want to get packed up? You go like this. Yo, don't fucking try it, bro. Get the fuck out of here, right? I keep talking, and I close the distance even more like I'm about to strike you. Bro, you don't got to wait for me to come up and strike you. You can pretty much reasonably believe that I'm trying to hurt you, despite the fact that you gave me multiple warnings and we have a beef and a history where I'm threatening to, I'm going to pack you up. Now you have reasonable belief that I'm going to significantly hurt you or create serious bodily injury. That's all that's necessary. And I don't have a self-defense now because I was the one that started with you and I closed the distance. If I close the distance, I'm the aggressor. I no longer enjoy the benefits of a self-defense argument.
I feel like what you're saying is a tall order of a lot of circumstances that needs to fall in his particular favor, despite any of the things that people have seen. But again, here's a few hurdles we have to get past.
Well, let's have fun with it then. So real quick, would it be fair to say the first fact pattern I gave you, right? Yeah. Which is what the people that are watching the stream on Pump Phone all told me. He's walking around. He sees them pointing at him and laughing. He walks up to start a conversation. Hey, how you guys doing today? Hey, get the fuck out of here. We don't want you around here. All right, I can walk wherever I want, but it is what it is. Walks away. Guy closes distance. Says the stuff. I got PTSD. Call me a chip and see what happens. You going to chimp out? Punches Chud. From all the witnesses I've heard from, he never called anyone and he didn't say anything until the guy said, you better not say, oh, are you going to chimp out? Or sorry, are you going to say I'm chimp out? Blah, 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 threaten him. Then he says, oh, or what, you going to chimp out? Then that's when he struck him. That's the first fact pattern. So I think in that one, he 1,000% has self-defense. He walked away.
I think
didn't provoke. The guy closed the distance. He punched him first. And, obviously shots were fired. We didn't see what happened, but you can hear a struggle. You can presume.
I think Dalton, I think that's his name, Dalton Etherly or whatever his name is. Him using chimp out will be very replaceable of him using the N-word in terms of it being seen as a fighting word. Okay? Someone tells you, hey, listen, I have a particular condition. Don't do this. And you say, wait, or you're going to chimp out. And that, I believe, is going to be seen not by every jury in every vicinity, but I think overwhelmingly, definitely enough for an indictment where people are like, well, why did you say it then? If the guy gives you a warning, that is a warning, right? Hey, don't start that other stuff or else I might have to react. I can't help myself. Well, I don't know if he said that, but then you then follow up by saying, don't say you're chimping out. That would then be, I would say, insightful, or what, a lot of, in many places, the law considers as fighting words. You don't think?
No, not at all, because that removes all autonomy from the guy, right? If we really had this whole concept of fighting words is ludicrous, because if we went off that precedent, like, basically, I could just say, I'm a retard, and then fucking punch you and be justified in it. Like, that would never fly, right? Him saying, I have PTSD, you better not say, right? And then he says, or what, you gonna chimp out? Like, and then the guy punches him? Dude, like, we're all adults here. Like, that's just completely unacceptable behavior. And he closed the distance against him, too. Keep in mind, bro, whoever closes the distance and is the aggressor is the loser in this situation.
Okay. And I know you said this before, but do you really believe that the only reason why did you saw the charges? You can't believe that all the charges are coming from, okay, just societal pressure and, hey, let's throw this to a grand jury and see what they say. You don't believe any of his actions. And well, let me start with this. So do you think he's justified in his shot?
With the first fact pattern I gave you, where
Let's go with that.
Again, from the people that saw the pump stream, that's self-defense all day. The guy came to close the distance on him.
So you could shoot him.
Well, again, we don't know what Chud knows when he decided to pull the trigger. He could have hit him twice and knocked the wind out of him. He could have maybe had a weapon from what Chud saw. He could have said something like, oh, you're going to die today. Like, all of these different factors can easily help or justify an escalation to deadly force. Because obviously a fight situation, every millisecond the facts are changing, which will allow you to justify the use of deadly force. So, you know, you could say, oh, one punch doesn't suffice. But as I explained before with the female example, well, to a female it suffices, right? So by definition, that means the person that is using the force must have a reasonable reason or a reasonable belief that they were in fear of death and or some serious bodily injury, which serious bodily injury could just be a broken bone. It's not that high of a barrier. So with the fact pattern that I have, I think it's self-defense all day. Now, the other one you gave, because you gave a second scenario where you said he came to him and he was bladed like this and he was reaching for something, it's not illegal to reach for something. And we don't even know if it was his mace or his gun, because he always carries mace around him with him as well. And he normally always maces people first when they come to him. So we don't know if it wasn't mace.
Establishing that he was reaching for something, especially given the fact that there hasn't, unless maybe he identified there was a threat before, kind of shows that he was already in a position to be the offender, or he was anticipating getting hit, but there is no threat at that point, right? And apparently he doesn't get hit until he says something, which that I would consider, and I think that would constitute fighting words, right? You know, again, you can't just antagonize people and shoot them. Like that would be like the greatest thing ever, right? Like you go out, like you a bitch. The person hits you, you shoot him dead. Like that would be like the best thing to just trick people out their spot. You know what I mean? But
yeah. Well, the thing is, bro, is like saying someone's chimping out is not fighting words. Like,
absolutely,
are you gonna chimp out? It's not fighting words.
No, absolutely, it is. Like,
you think that's fighting words?
A racial anything towards, if it's a homophobic slur, a racial epithet, it's all of that is going to go towards you are using speech in a way to violently offend, to either cause a reaction or to start an altercation, right? If someone, all right, let me ask you a question. If someone walked up to me and be like, "Fuck your dead grandma," is that fighting words to you?
No.
Okay, well, all right. So you might be a little bit different. To most people,
I would be like, this guy's fucking weird and leave.
Okay, so you have much more tolerance. I think if we've looked at the history of what's called, even fighting words, really even offending people just to get them off, whatever, interrupting and offending people, especially with slurs, are usually generally considered that. You get what I'm saying?
Right now, it's words meant to incite violence, such as they may not be protected under the First Amendment.
Chimping out is that. Chimping out. When I hear chimping out, you basically said the N-word.
I don't think that constitutes as a justification to punch somebody.
It's not. No.
There's no justification to punch somebody.
No.
Like zero.
I'm not arguing that it means you could punch someone. I'm arguing that the rhetoric that you approach that person with is now eliminated what you claimed you were there to do, which is practice your First Amendment right. Because now you're not practicing your First Amendment right because you've approached with words and type of speech that's not protected. So already your goal is not even within the bounds of what is actually accepted. And then what happens from there, we now have to look at differently. So now, okay, all right, fine. Let's say it was some protected speech and the guy punches him. Well, if it stops there, the guy gets an assault charge. It's a simple battery, right? That's like a misdemeanor some places, unless he really goes crazy on you. It maybe would turn into a felony. But that's what it is there. When that is the only precursor, right? We got to, like, again, and maybe for your audience, I'm using a ridiculous example. It's like, if we all agree to go shoot up like our enemy's block, right? And we all hop in a car and we're going to go there, right? And during the commission of this crime, one of us gets shot. They're probably going to charge us with murder. Or if we go to rob the bank and one of us get killed by the security guard, yeah, you guys get charged with the murder. So it's like, in a lot of cases, you got to follow the sequence of events of how this crime is committed or how it devolves to the last step. So Chud is the first offender by utilizing these fighting words that then, again, it doesn't justify, but it's the sequence of events, right? Like, for example, you didn't rob the bank yet, but walking into the bank, you had the intent of robbing, and then the security guard shoots your man, right? So again, you got to follow the sequence of events, and in none of the sequence of events is this guy being just unnecessarily provoked and unnecessarily being just like completely, hey, let us call you a name that is provocative, or just provoke you, and I think that's where. Yeah,
So,
sure.
okay, yeah. So, number one, in this scenario, like I said before, Chud wasn't the first offender because the guy came up to him. So it was the guy.
Well,
that was
he
the first
started
offender.
having a conversation first with Chud had started.
He said, hello, how you guys doing? He didn't swear at them. He didn't say anything. He walked away. Then that's when the guy came up and said, he knew who he was. He was like, hey, you better not say that chip out shit to me or call me. Otherwise, there's going to be problems because I got PTSD, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, or what? You going to chimp out? Then he strikes Chud. Also, real quick, assuming that let's assume Chud did. Let's go best case scenario for the prosecution. Let's say still is not considered a fighting word according to U.S. law. Still not. And then on top of that,
hold on. Wait.
It's not a fighting word.
Fighting words aren't necessarily just all spelt out. It's fighting words have a meaning behind them, which means anything that has, and this is why, the Sneeko debate constantly comes up, is like, if there's a shared meaning of offense or me trying to provoke you, that is going to be seen as a fighting word. There's not like clearly defined fighting words.
Yeah, no, of course. But what I'm saying is, because you said racial terms are considered fighting words, they're not. Now, what you're referring to is within certain contexts.
A white man calling a black guy the hard ER or saying he's chimping out, that is as fighting words as could be. Come on.
Okay.
In the United States of America?
Okay,
yes.
Again, what you might constitute as fighting words isn't constituted as fighting words according to U.S. law. I want to be clear about this. Like, you might take offense and be like, yo, those are fighting words, I'm whooping your ass. But according to the law, the term isn't a fighting word. Now, I'm going to be charitable. Let's assume the word is used with.
Who think he don't sound like a butt kiss right now? Talking about, well, if it doesn't, it's apply to the law. Nigga, shut the Yo, Myron, man, shut the fuck up, man. Your logic don't make no sense, brother. None. You sound like an idiot.
Wait.
Finish,
Are you saying that could never be a fighting word, or you're saying?
So Chud was to walk up to him and be like, yo, man, you a chimp, man. Like a monkey, man. He would not even be he'd be like, oh, yeah. He one of them cackling ass little house niggas. Look at his eyes. He can't believe he's saying this stuff out loud. Like, what? Am I really saying this shit? Am I really saying this dumb shit? Like, am I sitting here debating with what's this nigga, the academics over this punk shit? Dummy. 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 He's a dum-dum.
Just in itself, it's not a fighting word, but contextually could.
Yeah.
Because contextually, the way this guy, when I hear him say chimping out, I hear him saying the N-word. Like, my brain substitutes it. Like,
Sure. But remember, everything, notice how you respond to me, like, you know, from your subjective take.
I'm not doing the anecdotal thing here. I think where this is where depart in many, like, you know, mutual thinking. I think remember, listen, you know, even my audience know I am not Tariq Nasheed. They know, like, listen, when ACT feels offended by this is something that the majority of people who are, you know, melanated are going to feel offended by. This is not normal. Like, and I know when you say that you wouldn't feel offended by the N-word, I think you're the very small minority. I think if you walk up to most people that consider themselves black or even brown or have some ancestry that emanate from that sector, if they heard a white man say the N-word to them, immediately it would offend. They would feel
immediately would spark something. Now, brothers walk up all day, yo, my nigga, yo, this really don't mean it lost all its purpose, its meaning. You know what I'm saying? When a brother say, when a brother be like, hey, my nigga, oh, look at this nigga over here. Or just saying it in conversation, it doesn't bother me not one little bit. Yeah, it doesn't matter because it slips up in my conversation and that. You know what I mean, nigga? You know what I mean, my nigga? It slips up in my conversation every now and then as well. So, you know, he's right. If I was to walk up in a white man, look at this motherfucking nigga over here. This nigga here, man. I'm about to smack this nigga, man. This nigga try to act crazy. Don't shoot this nigga. I think I would feel real offended. Yeah, I would be offended. You know? So now what they're going to do, they're going to take a collective of everything that Chud the Builder has done, you know, because he has done a lot of shit before the incident itself, you know? He made a video one time. I saw the video, man. I saw the video. And he told the guy, yo, I'm going to go out here today and somebody chimp out. I'm going to put one of these monkey brains all over the concrete. Monkey brains on concrete? Who the monkey and who brains? You can put the, what the, not Chud the Busy. Chud the Buzzo. Oh no, not Chuddy. Yo, Act, put a foot in the back of this Myron dude. Put a foot in the back of this Myron dude, because he's a Chud lover and a Trump hater.
Like someone is trying to either oppress him or, and again, it's just, the word is loaded with meanings for people of a certain color. You saying that you could brush it off is very different.
All right, let's go into a scenario. Okay, are black people adults and full-fledged members of society?
Absolutely.
So if they're adults and full-fledged members of society, right, that have autonomy, well, that also comes with responsibility. If you punch somebody for saying a word just because you're a black, that actually looks bad on the black race. Because I'll tell you this, if I went to a Jewish neighborhood and started throwing Roman salutes and saying, I pretty much won't have to worry about anything. They're not going to come up and punch me because they're exercising self-restraint because they're adults. So your argument is basically, hey, bro, just don't, because they don't have self-control and they're going to punch you in the face. That's basically what you're trying to say. Now, going back to what I was saying about the whole law thing, not enough to be considered fighting words. It needs to be utilized with some other imminent threat of violence. In this scenario, now let's go back to the Chud the Builder case because we're being very specific. I only said doesn't meet fighting word requirement. Chimping out definitely doesn't.
Well, we're going to go off his history where he says he's leaving a chimp's brain on the pavement. Like, this is history.
I can address that after. So, not considered a fighting word unless some type of imminent violence is behind it, right? Next, fighting word, then we can pretty much conclude that chimping out isn't a fighting word either. Then, to add insult to injury to finish, the guy closed the distance on him, then said, you better not say chimping out. He says, or what, you gonna chimp out? That's when he punched him. So this guy has zero justification to do what he did. Again, I am going off of the facts and circumstances on what happened that day. Now let's address that tweet you mentioned with somebody on a sidewalk, blah, blah, blah. Now, obviously, that's not the best look, right? But I do think it's important to understand that
shows intent.
Let me say this. You could be a criminal. You can be a sex offender. You could be one of the most deplorable people ever. That does not deny you the right to defend yourself. You can say all kinds of crazy shit on the internet, but that does not mean that you can't defend yourself. So the tweet, I hate to say, is completely irrelevant to this specific use of force.
I think I disagree. I think his entire background makes this very different than, say, a drunk guy.
That's not going to come in at trial, though, Act. The important, like, the most important. Of
course it will.
None of that, it won't.
You don't believe that his previous behaviors and tweets will come in at all?
No, because what's going to happen is the prosecution's going to try.
Well,
the prosecution's obviously going to try to put it in.
Well, here's the thing. It's absolutely going to come in because, number one, and that's another thing that Mr. Chud's going to learn. You see, if you're going to shoot somebody, you got to make sure you kill him. That boy's going to take the stand. You know what he's going to say? Hey, the reason why I said that to him, that don't say this type of rhetoric, is because I've seen him on social media many times. So it's automatically going to come in. I've seen him on social media. He says this rhetoric. It's pissed me off. There is context towards just us having a random run-in. And if that guy takes a stance, you can't the stand. You can't immediately just.
You do realize that if the guy takes a stand and says what you just said, he's going to exonerate Chud. You do realize that, right? You just made Chud's case. You literally just made Chud's case, bro.
Not necessarily.
Bro, you literally just.
Hold on. No, wait.
You just made Chud's case.
No, because we disagree what the case is. The case is not saying why did this altercation happen or who was the first person that was physically violent. My thing is, if you like to pop shit that much, you better get security or learn to squabble up. You cannot shoot someone just because you get punched. I think the guy, play this. The guy who punched him probably should get an assault charge, honestly. Yeah. However, it's going to be nerfed by the fact that he got shot. The point is, if you are this raging racist who thinks that you're practicing your First Amendment right, you better be a black belt, because when somebody slaps you, you better be able to beat him to the ground, not try to shoot him and execute him. They didn't charge him with just aggravated assault, which means you shot him. They charged him with attempted murder, which means you tried to murder a man who punched you. And again, I know you say, well, maybe it's like 15 punches. Well, clearly, and I get it, maybe they've just overcharged and we're going to see what it is. But the reason why he's sitting in jail now, can't even take the bond that's coming through with the GoFundMe, this and third, is because you miscalculated. It's not only that you were doing some crazy shit and you should have knew this were going to be the consequences, white skin or not. You operated in a place where now you have to go rely on a bunch of jurors to see your side. You got played. As much as he was running around calling black people stupid, calling them chimps, the only person who was misinformed of the actual law, the guy who shot him, yes, he got shot. He's not getting charged. The only person who got handcuffs on him that's showing up to court looking dumb stupid when they say 1.25 million bail is you, because everything you were doing wasn't fully backed by the law. And you know it wasn't fully backed by the law. Again, I'm not saying. So you believe he's solely charged?
Okay, so number one, me and you both know that people get charged in high-profile cases like this that are racially motivated because the DA's office doesn't want to deal with it. I'll be fair to you. Look at Carmelo Anthony when he stabbed Austin Metcalf. He claimed self-defense, but they still arrested him. Why? Because the state doesn't want to have to deal with the backlash that can come whenever these, racially charged cases end in someone dying. They'd rather push it to the grand jury or the jury. That's number one. Number two, when I mentioned that stuff's not going to come in, you do realize if that stuff does come in about his past, all of that is going to give Chud even more justification because he's an antagonizer. He's a controversial person. Everybody hates him. This allows him to be able to say, look, I'm on heightened alert because people are trying to kill me. They doxed my address, blah, blah. This dude came up to me. He's made threats to me.
Not if it's
before
proven that he's provoking that particular incident.
No, he didn't, though. That's the point. He did not provoke this. See, you're relying upon our streams to justify this guy coming up and assaulting Chud because of what he did on other streams. This
I'm relying on the arrest warrant.
Hold on, real quick. This use of force incident is an isolated event, and nothing really matters from before. You can be a murderer, a terrible person. That stuff isn't going to come in.
No.
Now
I'm relying on the arrest report.
Hold on.
He said to him, "You're chimping out." If you said to that guy, he's chimping out, and for whatever reason he takes that offense, you have started a train of events.
He didn't, because that guy came up to him. In this isolated incident of use of force, Chud walked away. The guy closed the distance. He was the one that provoked. Then he punched Chud first. Chud responding, "Or you gonna chimp out," does not give this guy the legal right to punch him under some ambiguous fighting terms phrase. We know constitute for that. So how is chimping out gonna constitute?
You're constantly.
Dude, this is like this is open up, man.
Wait. You're constantly. You're restating my point without actual. I never said he has the right to punch him. I've always thought that
what Chud provoked. You're arguing Chud provoked, and I'm saying he didn't.
Hold on. You hear what I'm saying? I think he antagonized the situation, right? Fighting words do not get. Hold on. I agree. Fighting words do not give people the right to assault you. However, once we start there and you get assaulted, it then doesn't give you the right to use deadly force. That's the point. So again, Chud should have squabbled up. Or if you knew your squabble game was weak and you had to pull the gun, you should have never been in that situation. So yes, the guy's wrong for punching Chud, but Chud should have punched him back. Not use, that's not proportional force. And I'm telling you, I would love to. First of all, here's the thing. This is how much I don't care about Chud. If Chud beats this case, if a nigga lift straight up, like this is not good. If you think he's gonna get off shooting a guy because a guy punched him one. And by the way, there's no like flurry of punches we heard. We heard the guy hits him, right? If he gets off by being able to legally shoot someone because someone punched him, let's end fist fights. Because you punch me, I'm gonna see you. We gonna stay in the seventh heaven. That's not happening. Come on.
Again, I asked you earlier, if a woman gets punched, does she have the justification to use deadly force? You said it depends. So the fact that you conceded,
the circumstances we talked about already has it's you can't compare it to a woman. You can't compare it to a woman.
That's not my point. I'll real quick. I'll go through this. First, you said, because your argument is this. Let me make sure I have this right. A punch does not justify deadly force. Fair?
Yes.
That's your position. Okay. Then I asked you.
Also, Tennessee statute also say that if you were the antagonist, you cannot use self-defense. That is also true. So there's many things going against them.
Hold on. Okay. So let's go through this again. Your position is Chud, one punch does not justify deadly force. Fair?
Yes.
Okay. Then I asked you, if the dude punched a girl that's 5'1", 100 pounds, does that count? Does that justify her using deadly force? You said it depends. Beautiful. That proves. So the fact that you conceded on that means I'm right, and let me explain why. You're saying
no. You're right with a 5% possibility. It's like, yo, if I told you if you could jump off this building, you have a 5% chance of surviving. It's unlikely possible. Yes. Is it probable? No.
Okay. I'm not saying that to say, oh, the woman is going to shoot. I'm showing it to illustrate that reasonableness based on the person that's using the force is the only thing that matters. So again, me and you can't sit here, right, a Monday morning quarterback and be like, oh.
Yeah, we can, because that percentage.
No, we can't.
No, Myron, hold on. You're not admitting that percentage is very low. Like again, I got to talk to you in broad terms. Listen, if we had to get and you've seen many of these incidents, 100 incidents that you think a fist fight actually would, it would actually prove that it was warranted to use a gun. If there was 100 fist fights, how many do you think we would be like, oh, okay, it made sense for him to use a gun. Or, no, legally, he was right to use a gun. It would be probably very few and far in between. So for you arguing this for Chud, it's like, huh? Yo, it's like arguing like, yeah, of course, if I go to the casino and gamble, there's a 2% chance I win, but most of them I'm going to lose. No, that is, yes, with self-defense, you are completely right. However, when you try to apply the, well, you know, if it was a woman it would be a little bit different. But it's not a woman. Let's use the variables that actually exist. And even
These are facts that you speak, young man. Use the variables that exist. Chud was an asshole. He went out there, he antagonized people to do what they did, right? He got a history of running out there saying stuff to make people at ease and uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And I was just waiting to see it come around because I knew it was going to happen. You know, eventually somebody was going to smack the shit out that kid. You hear me? And knock that hat off his head. Yeah. But with that being said, party people, it's your boy Dabrand knows. And I got a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to holler back. Peace out.